What is up guys, it is Sim here and welcome back to another team racing video on F124, and today it is round 2 for the Japanese Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last race, which was the season opener in Bahrain, I highly recommend you go check that out before you see this one, because spoilers are ahead. And if you are looking forward to this video and eager for more content, make sure you get subscribed for more team racing and league racing content. The seasons are underway and there's going to be a lot more consistent uploads on the channel as well. So let's get into this. I do want to say, first of all, I've seen the support on the channel so far. It is absolutely brilliant. Some videos have been doing really well, and I do appreciate the growth and support and on the channel as well. And you know, if there's anything else you guys want me to make, you know, like with open lobbies or time trial streams or anything like that, do let me know in the comments down below. I do believe that this is a genuine opportunity for me to grow this channel into a really solid platform for a lot of people. So let me know what you guys think of that in the comments below. As you can see in the background, as I stop waffling and actually get into qualifying, we made a mistake on our first lap. Japan is actually known on this game for being very brutal on the curbs, especially through the first sector. So we kind of got it wrong through the first lap, and we're going to go and try again on the same set of tyres as we fueled up for 2 laps. So, coming through the Casilla Triangle, the final chicane, I was a little bit, you know, cautious about this in practice, as it's very easy to invalidate, but we get a lap time on the board.
Put it a little wide.
It's a 27.7, which isn't really good, but it puts us P7 at the time, and we're going to try and do a second lap now with just under 7.5 minutes to go. So let's see if we can find an improvement, because I was doing quite a bit extra practice with my teammate SLR Medal. So the old SLR teammate combination is back for AEC, and we're going to try and maximize another result. So down towards turns 1 and 2, we took a little bit of a more narrow line on this occasion. We managed to get away with it. We switched the ERS down to medium to make sure that we're carrying as much minimum speed as we can through this S section, which is very easy to get wrong. As Jensen Button once said, this track punishes you for its mistakes, and it's vital to keep it facing the right way. So we did manage to get through the first sector. It's a 31.5 as we have a bit of a moment through the exit of Degner 1. I've never done that before in practice, so it's pretty frustrating to make that mistake here, but we get away with it as we continue on with the lap, blocking up the left front into the hairpin, and a decent exit means we get away with it. We are currently a 10th.5 up, so far it's not too bad, but it's not feeling too great either. But we've still got a couple of corners left to close out the lap through Spoon. Pretty solid minimum speed through the 2 corners. We do miss the apex a tiny bit, but you don't really want to be touching that curb. It'll spit you out into the gravel. So it's a 10.7 in the middle sector, which is quite decent, and we're looking to close out the lap into the Casilla Triangle, braking just at the 100-meter board, down to 3rd gear, rotate the car through the right and the left, and we'll try and take the narrowest line en route to the finish line, and that puts us into P6 again, this time with a 27.4. So again, we get dropped down the order a little bit, but this last lap is going to be crucial.
Alright, how much do I need to get into the top 8, for example?
Like 10th, like, half 10th even. It's really close between us and like 6th, I think.
Yeah.
6th is like a 10th and a bit.
Alright, sound.
But to you it's like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck.
So that was quite a conversation there between myself and my teammate. The margins are very close in qualifying. Everyone is putting in really good times, so it's up to us to deliver on the final lap. Unfortunately, we forget to turn on the hot lap, and that gives us a half a 10th disadvantage already. So we're having to compensate with that by using quite a bit more battery than we wanted to. Into turns 1 and 2, a bit wider on the entry, and that actually helps us on the exit of turn 2. And this time we're going to try and nail the S section, but you know, we're collecting a bit of grass through the first 2 parts of this section of the circuit, but the rest of it is quite clean. As we climb up the Dunlop curve, we have found half a 10th, 600th of a second as we go into the heart of sector 2. Degner 1, no dodge exit this time, and Degner 2, we do miss the apex a tiny bit, but the exit is pretty decent, and we are nearly 2 tenths up going down towards the hairpin, not locking up the left front, but we have a bit of a moment on the exit. That's going to hurt us a little bit. It doesn't hurt us too much on the delta, but that's cost us a little bit of time, maybe half a tenth, but we can still recover a bit more time into this final part of the lap through Spoon, really sending it through the second part, as the exit wasn't too great, but we're still keeping that a tenth and a half advantage as we try to get to the end of this lap at 10.5 in the middle sector, so it's a lot better than the previous attempt. So let's see what we could do at the Casio Triangle, down the gears, down to third, absolutely sending it through, a little bit cautious through the second part, but we still keep the advantage, but we run out of battery and across the line we go. It's not quite a 0.2, it's a 27.3, and that's P8.
Should have been a 2.
And you can hear me briefly say, that should have been a 0.2. We did lose at least a good half a tenth because we ran out of battery on the last run to the line there, as Medal didn't quite hit the heights of his PBs in practice either. And that is P8 for us and P12 for our teammate, which isn't too bad, you know, we're both in a point scoring position. But honestly, look at the times. Like, it is really, really close between myself and all the way down to P11. There's at least half a tenth covering that, at least 4 or 5 places, which is absolutely ridiculous. So we're in a decent position. Let's get into the race and see what we could do, because we got a podium last time after starting 8th on the grid. I'm not sure about this one though. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get onto the podium. We're going to start on the hard tyres once again, try and use that overcut to our advantage and have fresher tyres by the end, and we're going to see what we could do from 8th on the grid. Here we go then. Time for the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 red lights ahead of us. And the lights are out, and we are underway in Suzuka, a track that's been very kind to us in the past. Let's see what we can do here today. Decent start off the line as we're looking to try and go up the inside of Supply Raptor going into the first corner. He's also on the hard tyre, so it's crucial that we try and get ahead of him. But going into the S section, we choose to choose life. That's a weird way of saying it. We decide to back out of it and choose life on the opening lap by just sitting back. No need to take silly risks the first lap. You can see TTM Furious and Elite Risks have stormed up the field already on those medium tyres, and that is basically the painful part of starting on these tyres. In the opening few laps, the hard tyres, compared to the mediums, they feel like crap. So it's going to be quite difficult to actually keep up with the pace of the medium runners in front of us. But Otto, the fellow FRT driver in the system McLaren, has had a huge moment at Spoon. We're going to try and use the slipstream of Supply Raptor to try and draw ourselves alongside Otto. And through 130 on, we're still side by side, and we're looking to close the move, going into the Casio Triangle.
Oh shit. Oh god. Oh dear. That's not ideal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not ideal. We've hit the back of
He
Supply
breaks
Raptor and he's lost
I think I just hit.
at least 3 places, and also the top 5 have already broken away, so not my best moment, safe to say, but we are up to P6, albeit hitting a McLaren out of the way on the way up, as meanwhile Gabor, who ran very low wings, has had a moment and ended up into the gravel trap there through the S section. So we're up into P5 now, as our engineer for this race, Quabolda, was telling me that now we're the lead hard runner, which is pretty decent stuff. In Brazil, you know, in the last race in WR, we didn't quite have that track position. So to be the lead hard runner basically means that we can try and dictate the strategy, and it's going to help us more with track position. But we're going to have not 1 but 2 medium runners fly past us, and honestly I'm not really bothered by this, as Gabor's going for a double overtake, which he manages to pull off very nicely. He's up into P5 again, as he looks to recover from that scary moment there at the S section. But yeah, the main priority now is, you know, trying to stick with these guys, and any medium runner that tries to attack us, we just let them go, because we're not going to be on the same pace as these guys, and there's not really much point fighting for no reason, because at the end of the day we're going to be hurting ourselves along with anyone else that we decide to fight, as we have a massive moment there through Degna 2, just missing the apex by a good 3.5 miles. as now Elite Risks, our former SLRT teammate, is going to breeze past us. Again, we don't really put up a fight. He's on the mediums, and he started down in 14th place, so he's made an unbelievable start so far in his Japanese Grand Prix, gaining 7 places in the opening 3 laps, similar to his win in AEC in Spain last season, where he gained 7 places on the opening 2 laps, which helped him win the race that day. So, Elite Risks proving that, you know, he's still pretty quick, and obviously he's not been on the game as much as we have. But, yeah, still one to watch as always. We're looking to settle down into this race. Medal, a little bit down the order. Obviously, the DRS train has broken up a little bit. But the priority is we just stay behind Elite. That is literally it. Not much is going to happen here. We've got Bourbon Boy as well. And Supply Raptor also on the same compound tyre as us. So they're going to be ones to watch as well going into the latter part of this race as we go through the chicane. Meanwhile, something's happened to Bourbon Boy again.
What's happened to Bourbon?
There you go, Spawn.
Oh, well that's broken. Oh, nice.
So Bobbert went for a move on Rapids, basically like forced him to break really. They got late. Basically, what happened to you and Allison at Bahrain. So he careered into him.
And it turns out Bourbon Boy's been taken out again, this time by Bobbert, who also had a bad qualifying. He joined Elite on the 7th row of the grid, and as a result, you know, he's trying to make places, but unfortunately Bourbon's been taken out again. And I will say, Bourbon, if you are watching this, you've been very unlucky in the first 2 rounds with collisions that are not really his fault. So hopefully our former FG teammate from some stages last season can actually bounce back and get the results he's capable of, because he's actually a pretty solid driver all in all. As we skip all the way to lap 11, I'm not going to lie guys, nothing's happened except the fact that the pit stop phase has arrived in this Japanese Grand Prix, as the 3 cars in front of us just dive straight into the pits, and that puts us up into P3. And crucially, because of Bourbon's collision with Bobbert's, we've got a 2.1 second lead over Supply Raptor, so it's going to be important for us to keep that advantage as we make our pit stop a little bit later into the race.
Tweet, should I box earlier? Because look at this. Look at this fucking gap.
Meanwhile, the same can't be said for our teammate SLR Medal. He's stuck in a massive train of cars who are not really on the same level of pace as some of the front runners here. So Medal thinking of an undercut to try and get himself into clean air.
Simracing takes the lead too.
Which is important because track position is key around Japan. It's really hard to overtake, as meanwhile, you can see we've taken the lead of the race, but unfortunately for us, you saw us make a mistake through the S section, and at the moment, we're just not really driving that well in clean air. It's like I've forgotten how to hit an apex. It was the same problem in the last race in Brazil. It was the same problem in the pre-season race around that same track, and as a result, Supply Raptor's gone from being 2 seconds back to being in DRS range very, very easily. So again, a poor stint in clean air. I'm not too sure what the problem is, honestly, as we take a very cautious entry in the pit lane, which might be costly as well. But we're going to put on the medium tyres at the end of lap 16. The tyres didn't feel great. I was doing consistent times, but I just didn't feel that fast enough. As you can hear me say that I was making, you know, not the cleanest stint in clean air. Normally that would be a good sign for us to push on and try and mitigate the time loss with these guys who are coming past us on the straight. So yeah, we're giving ourselves a bit of work to do with just under 11 laps to go
just out of
in
DRS,
this
man.
race. We come out in very, very clean air. Like, no one challenging behind. That's the gap between, you know, us on the alt strat and the other cars fighting for the low end of the points. And the first car we've caught up to is Elite Risks. Now, he got damage after tapping the back of Gabor, I believe. There was a bit of contact in the S section, and Elite basically had nowhere to go. It's a very narrow circuit, and unfortunately for him, he's got front wing damage, and he was probably looking at a top 5 finish, as he's not making it too easy for us to overtake him down the main straight. We do get the inside line for turn 1, and that is us up into 8th place. So we're back where we started, and there's a 4.9 second gap between myself and Gabor, and it's up to me to close that gap down, but we've got Raptor with us.
I think me and Raptor can just work together. He's past the lead as well.
And that is a big moment in this race, actually. As you'll see in a few moments' time, I've realised that Raptor's right with us, and as a result, we can actually work together to help close the gap a lot quicker. As so far, this lap's been very good as we set the fastest lap of the race.
Now that puts a smile on my face.
And that makes me happy because it means that we are definitely putting the hammer down, and we can definitely help. That will definitely help us close the gap between us and the cars in front. You can see by the time we get to lap 20, the gap is down to 3.7 seconds. But we're not really catching too much, so we're going to let Raptor go, try and work together with him, and hopefully he can take us towards the front train. And guess what? That's exactly what he does. Raptor looks really quick around this track. Qui was telling me he's a Japan merchant, and I respect it. Japan's a great circuit to be a merchant at. But you can see there is a whole load of scrapping going on in front of us.
Oh, that's not going to end well. That is not ending well. They're going side by side, man. What am I saying?
And if you've seen other league races on other channels, you can see that sometimes these races can be a little bit crazy. And that's exactly another example of it. Everyone's going for it with literally 6 laps to go. There's times for this as well. There's a time and place for everything. But these guys are desperate for track position. And the first car that Raptor needs to get past is PJR Samuel, who spent a lot of time in the game. But he's finding himself in a pretty decent position. He's got a 3-second penalty, however, which could hurt him.
I think I'll just let these guys fight for me. There's absolutely no need to rush this at all. Yep. Got that, Kieran. I am not doing a repeat of Bahrain, mate. I am just going to sit here, and if there is an opportunity, we're going to snatch it. So, yeah.
And that is another piece of important communication as Raptor sends it on Samuel. He gets the move done. But
why the fuck's he put the outside?
We're going to take our time and take our chances accordingly. Because if you've seen Bahrain, I tried to take a chance by myself, and it didn't end too well. So this time around, we're going to see if we've learned the lesson and pick our moments when they arrive. A bit like Edge in WWE, we have to be the ultimate opportunist. I can't believe I made a wrestling reference.
It's still P13.
But we have to be an opportunist and take our chances when it comes. We have to be ruthless here because points are on the line here, which could be vital towards the end of the season. As meanwhile,
oh my God,
I almost send Samuel to the Shadow Realm through 130R. I try a desperate lunge at the inside. I'm getting annoyed because he's simply not moving.
I almost took him out 130R. This guy's not refusing. He's refusing to move. We've got a penalty, mate. Oh my God. What are you moving across the straight for?
Nice move. Good job.
What an absolute...
Am I in... Oh no, okay, fine.
Mate, you almost took me on the bloody straight.
And as you can hear, I am not very happy. That could have been race over because this contact model is very, very strange. As I've made a short clip about it in the WR race, as Samuel tries to send it into Degner 1. What is going on there? You're not going to make a move at Degner 1, my friend. It's simply too narrow. One car could barely fit through there. So why do you think 2 cars are going to fit through there? Very, very silly decision. We get away with it. As meanwhile, my team around me have told me to calm down because there's more points on offer here. We need to stay focused as Samuel, as Raptor tries to make more progress. There's contact with him and Furious through Spoon. And there's the opportunity. And we take it with both hands. We get past the both of them. Going into 130R. And that is us from 7th to 5th in one foul swoop. Massive stuff for us. We're up into P5. And the podium, another podium, is right in front of us. We just need to try and get as close as we can to TTM Gergo and NVR Gabor as Gergo looks to move into the podium places again. He does get past Gabor down the straight, but Furious wants that place back. You can see how much pressure he's putting us under going into the Casino Triangle. He has a look round the outside and we defend it well, but we get a very, very silly warning there. That's our second warning of the race. We did a similar mistake in the early stage of the race on the hard tyre, and we've made it again here. So that's just made things that little bit more difficult. As you can see, We're going to try and make another opportunity for ourselves, having a look around the outside of the MVR driver. No, it's not. It's not an MVR driver. It's actually PGR. My bad. Yeah, there we go. PGR. So, Gabor, we tried to pass him around the outside of turn 1. Nothing quite doing on that occasion. The battery management hasn't been the best, as you can see. Gergo and Gabor going so slowly through 130R. We're almost pushing them both through the corner. We're going to try and go round the outside, but we just can't draw alongside Gabor going into the final chicane. And that means he's in the best place to get P3 as Furious loses the rear end on the exit. Gabor looks to take the podium from Gergo, and he's done exactly that. He's up into P3, and this 6-car fight looks to be ended by MVR Gabor, who looks to be the winner of this race and get onto the final step of the podium, unless Gergo can do anything about it on the final lap. Unfortunately, with a third car in this train, it's quite difficult to pass unless it's another moment through Spoon. Not quite. Gergo not really having a chance to make an overtake there. Unless something happens in the final chicane, this will be the provisional result. As you can see, Gabor going defensive, going into 130R, and Gergo looking to try and make one last move, going into the Casio triangle. Gabor fends it off well, and that will be him in third place. And we're going to have to settle for P5 as BRT run away with it. It's P5 for us.
Close call, that.
And that ends another solid race from yours truly. This time, it is a P5 again, this time in AEC for the Japanese Grand Prix. We finished just over 4 seconds off the lead, and that's probably because of all the fighting and all the squabbling. But, you know, very good points again. Medal tried his best with the situation he was in with slower cars. He ended up 12th as well. So, another few decent points for the team. And we're really starting to show what we can do, both in WR and in AEC, which is great to see because we were struggling for form at the end of last game. So I'm glad, you know, I can actually give you guys a decent showcase of what we can do, albeit the first lap incident. And as you can see in the standings, we're 4th still, and we are top of the Drivers' Championship, which is absolutely insane. Of course, we've done one more race than quite a majority of the grid, but it is great to see that the results are coming together. And the next race is going to be in Imola on this Sunday at 8 PM UK time. So stay tuned for that. And that will probably be a nice way to end today's video. So subscribe to the channel for more league racing and team racing content. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one.